I've got cheap 20-pound bag of Walmart sunflowers, regular spreader, and I've got an area here on a power line right away near the road. Sprayed this side of it. This side over here is still green. I'm going to try to no-till these and just see how they do. I'll get to try one way where there's a little less thatch, one way where there's a little more thatch, and then I'm actually going to head up to my food plot and just broadcast straight into all those standing grains, and I'll have a three-way test try. This area turned out to be around 1/5 of an acre, so just a couple down and backs on the four-wheeler with Roundup had this place knocked out pretty quickly. Now you can see a little closer what I'll be seeding into, so the rest of this green stuff hopefully will die off, but once I get this seed in here today, and I'm expecting rain the next day or two, it's going to knock this seed down against the ground and the rest of this fall over on top of it. Then over here, you see this is completely green, so there's definitely going to be more thatch on top of the seed, but we'll just see what works out the best. The idea here is even if I fail, it didn't cost much. I mean, it's cheap. And if it does germinate well, I can come back with basically one 50-pound bag of fertilizer. You know, and that's 250 pounds to the acre, so that should be actually sufficient. I'm not exactly sure even what the seeding rate is. If they come up too thick, who cares? If I really just want to know, will they germinate? Will they begin to grow? If they do, I mean, I can thin them some with a weed eater. I'll just leave some rows. But we'll just see. Again, a couple quick down and backs with the broadcast seeder and straight black oil sunflower seeds, and we had this 1/5 of an acre seeded pretty quickly. As with everything food plots, you can get your exercise in if you're doing it the poor man's way. I ended up running out about 10 pounds of just this generic Pennington sunflower, black oil sunflowers. We'll come back in a couple weeks and just see how it did. I'm not trying to spread this seed in any certain spot. Just going to kind of go through the center of it, and we'll come back later and see if we can tell any difference between what has been seeded and what hadn't. This was really poor ground that had just been timbered the spring/summer before. I had planted a fall cereal grain in there. That's the thatch or stuff that you see standing. We just seeded directly into it to try to help the soil keep building up. My guess is when we get out here to this stuff that's a little more dense, those seeds that are down in there are going to do a little better. But I don't know. It's pretty poor ground. Just have to wait and see. Here's the 1 week follow-up. It doesn't look like this over here that I've just most recently sprayed has died off yet. This here looks about like it did last week, but there, right down there, there. They're starting up. This would be the 3-week update. You can see they're sprouting up all through there. I think this should work. The area that I sprayed into and broadcast the seed the same day, I'm not seeing hardly any sunflowers. There's one, but definitely looks like those areas over here where I broadcast into when it was already burned down pretty good. It's doing a little better. Well, it's August. We're back to check on the sunflower test. We got some stuff growing in this grain stand, but it is definitely not sunflowers. There's a little bit of green down there on the ground, but there's no sunflowers here. Well, here's an update on the power line, the small plot we tried down here. No sunflowers here either. So, no sunflowers to speak of, and as far as that's concerned, you have to say that's a fail. We learned the sunflowers didn't make. It's what will happen when you plant a small plot next to a 10-acre cutover. The deer are just going to mow it, I guess, even if it is close to the road. But you see the power line is burned down compared to what was not sprayed. So this little section in here, my ground's right. Won't be hard to come back in here and spray real quick, scratch the ground, sow my wheat and oats, and then top dress it with clover. So going into next spring, we should have a little clover plot here. It's easy for me to get my mower to, so even though it was a short-term fail, I learned a little bit, and the long-term play is still good. So that's the way food plotting goes. You have to take short-term losses for long-term wins, and that's just what I have grown to experience.